Okay, well, welcome and opening comments. This meeting is being recorded, and this would be the public comment period, which folks from the public, if there were, this would be their opportunity. Next agenda item is to approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting on July 22nd, 2025, as well as the annual meeting from October 27th, which is today.
So moved.
So, well, wait, the annual meeting was on the 24th,
Oh,
that's third.
that is an error on the
Oh, it's okay,
agenda.
I was like, is
Yeah,
it today?
nope, that's right.
Yes,
So
yes.
October 23rd is the correct date.
Correct, the annual meeting was October 23rd. Alright, so a motion,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. And we'll turn to Adam for a quarterly update on Regional Development Corporation activities.
Great. So as a reminder, this is our first quarterly report. This report is submitted to the Department of Economic Development on a quarterly basis under the terms of our agreement with them to be the Regional Development Corporation. As a reminder for everyone, the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation established two dedicated entities to strengthen and streamline our regional economic community development efforts. The new entities are Brattleboro Development Community Corporation, known as Community Corp, today's meeting, and the Rural Investment Center, known as RIC. And these were intentionally created to serve various functions. The Corp serves as the RDC and will be doing the work that BDCC has done for 70 years. However, Corp has no employees, so it contracts with BDCC to implement that contract. So I, staff of BDCC, am here today under that agreement, reporting out to the board and to the state already the activities undertaken with that contract. RIC is in its early stages, but we are looking to grow the lending out of RIC instead of out of the BDCC. That's going to take many years to transition because, well, SBA is closed. Even if they're open, we would have to slowly transition those loans. They don't want us to just move existing SBA loans over to RIC. They want to see those stay, so it could take as long as those to turn out. So we will have lending happening in both organizations, but RIC is the one that is applying for CDFI status. They too have had all of their employees terminated recently, so that's a bit on pause until that all gets straightened out. Couple of items just to highlight under the report of the activities of the RDC. So, you know, we haven't always highlighted why we're doing the things we do. So this is a great opportunity to say, what do we tell the state we are doing under this contract and what's required? So we have to submit quarterly reports for good, better, best ranking of ourselves with probably about 25 or 30 different criteria ranging between, they ask about our governance, they ask about our engagement with elected officials, with municipal officials. They ask how many business and how many workforce events that we have, how many meetings with businesses we have, how often we refer to programs. So it's all activities that are always in my reports, but not called out as specific criteria that the state measures. So this new process will sort of bubble up and remind folks, oh, that's a thing we have to do with the state, and we're being measured on the effectiveness of how we do that. So one of those, business assistance and financing, under Danny's leadership, we have just absolutely crushed previous years. Number of people we're engaged with, number of people that we're supporting technical assistance for, people that we've assisted in transition of ownership. What am I missing there, Danny? What other
Number of loans.
Loans, number of loans that we've done. So really happy to see that continue to be a strong point for us here. We had a staff member attend the Brownfield EPA conference in Detroit, so continuing to learn how to serve those needs. We hosted Capitol for a day with the governor and his cabinet through a variety of different business visits. They also, every agency and department that has nothing to do with us also is in the county meeting with folks, so it's a busy day across the county. We are forming the CEO roundtable that I've reported on in the past, and we're trying to get a date.
Good luck with
Yeah.
that.
So much so that we're probably gonna push this into January to get a date where there's a core group of people. We've selected 40 employees and greater for the number of folks to participate in that. We then wanna, once that's established, we very much intend to have more of just an employers group, which is all employers. That any size folks can come, and the CEO will be just sort of its own thing. It's not gonna be we're not trying to make it an activist group. We're not trying to make it anything. It's really what do those individuals want, and we'll see, whereas I think a lot of the work will really happen in the broader group.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
How would you arrive at the 40 and above?
We started at 50 and realized that really, we missed a tranche of folks. And it really, the plan is to ask them what they want once we get that group there. And I mean, how many do you employ?
34.
34. So like, there's people who are within eyesight of that I think everyone's gonna, I hope that everyone will say, no, let's open this up further. And it's really for larger employers that have like an HR staff, have the staffing, and where that break is, I don't know. Is it 25? Is it 20? Is it 30, 40? So yeah, I think more to come on that, and then hopefully just more inclusive rather than exclusive. What people have said to me is the desire to meet with peers who have the same challenges that they do. That's what I hear. And I think that's gonna be the benefit for those folks. Foreign trade zone, briefly, we continue to work with our federal partners, specifically Senator Welch's team, who's very interested in seeing this happen. Nothing's happening last month, obviously. So once the government is up and running again, we hope that Senator Welch's team can help us with this final hurdle, which is getting either Springfield, Massachusetts, or St. Albans, Vermont, which we all know which is closer. They don't, or Springfield doesn't. They're like, no, we got one in Vermont. It's like, yeah, no. So neither of them will support us, and until one of them agrees, you can't have them. So they have to be willing to service us. So that's going to take some arm twisting. We met with Let's Build Homes Coalition. We sponsored an event in Wilmington. I was not able to attend. Elizabeth, I know you're on their board.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
there.
Okay. And how was that?
It was good. There were 20-ish people that came, and it was a nice array of stakeholders, some developers. A legislator was there, and some community folks. Chris Campany from the Planning Commission was there.
What organizations?
It's a new organization that's an advocacy group around building new homes in Vermont, and their kind of sweet spot where they're focusing is on policy. So for example, they had an early win in the legislature last year in creating a new TIF program that's specifically geared towards the project level financing, not necessarily a neighborhood. And so it's a new source of funding to help address infrastructure costs on a project. And they're looking for additional policy areas that they can move the dial on, removing barriers to building housing. So that was the nature of the conversation. We met, it was about a 2-hour meeting in Wilmington, and Moreau Weinberger, who's the executive director, former mayor of Burlington, he talked about the CHIP program. Is in the rulemaking process right now, and reviewed what was happening there, and just really solicited views on what the next legislative priorities should be. And there was a lot of talk about the tier 1 and 2, and and how that's going, and
And so it was a very engaging meeting, well attended, and thank you for sponsoring.
Yeah, great.
It's good.
They had little around the state.
They did sort of a listening tour, if you will, in each county.
Yeah.
And just to gather feedback from the broader community about their legislative priorities.
And they were shooting for two for right in the middle with Bennington and Wyndham.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was somebody there from Bennington, the Regional Planning Commission, so I think, yeah, it was well attended.
I'm curious what the pulse is in that group about. I know the governor sort of being an executive order about, Act 250 and sort of let's just move along and move forward. Is that
I'm not sure if anybody from the group, was in active conversation with the governor. I think any regulation that gets loosened up that allows housing to move quicker. We had a strategic retreat a few weeks ago, and one of the ideas, for example, that was bantered around is in certain areas that have certain conditions in place. Is there a way to have housing by right instead of a permit? So more like a building permit, which is a very ambitious idea, but they're an ambitious group and really want to see barriers removed.
It's a great segue to the next item I'm gonna touch on, so thank you for that, which is the Municipal Leaders Network. So we formed this under Meg Stolliff's program, the Southern Vermont Economy Project, which is a USDA funded initiative. So she is bringing together leaders, planning commission members, town managers from across the county. And she's got I think 11 folks signed up. And it's 2 counties from across Bennington and Wyndham County. And she shared yesterday, it's the 18, it's a bunch of really, towns that are doing things and figuring things out. So in that series, we are going to really emphasize the CHIP, the different tiers. Are the municipalities with those, small staffs getting enough information or technical assistance to do what they think, their communities want under these new opportunities? And I believe that concludes my update. The report is about 20 pages long, so there's a lot more details in there. But I'll let folks read that on their own, and happy to answer any questions.
questions for Adam? Next up is, and I think it's the approval of the Community Corp conflict of interest form, which I believe is the same form that we have used.
No, actually, this one you already approved earlier this year when you did all of the different documentation for Community Corp. So this is just an update to let folks know that will be going out. You'll get 2 policies, but the same form to fill out for BDCC and Community Corp in the next few days.
Great.
So everyone remembers these, it's the drop down form.
Yeah.
So
It was,
yeah.
Thank you for.
But you're gonna get two.
Yeah.
Even though, so there's 2 different policies, 1 form.
Next, I guess we're looking for a motion to adjourn the community corp meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.